So this question comes from Silas. I have a question. I want to ask your opinion about an online university in the United States known as University of the People. I'm a Pakistani citizen and I work as a salesman in Oman. I really wanted to get a degree in computer science, and the best way for me to do it is the online program for University of the People. So I want to know if you have any information about this university. So this is one of those kind of questions that I get a lot of the time, and I realize no matter how I answer this question, you really already have the answer you want, right? Because really, in this question, the thing that should be capitalized and underlined and italicized and bolded is I want to get a degree in computer science, and the best way for me to do it is the program from University of the People. So realistically, the decision has already been made. The decision has already been made, and there you go. No matter what I say, you pretty much know what you want to do. This is an important thing to understand in life. You know, whenever you go out and you look for advice from mentors or whatever, is so many times we already have the answer to our question in our head, and then for some reason we still go out there and we ask these questions even though we already know exactly what we're going to do. And so a lot of times you can save yourself a lot of pain and frustration simply by doing whatever it is you want to do. If you've already made your decision, go with your decision and go with it. But I want to talk about University of the People for a minute because it does seem like an interesting program. It is definitely not at the top of my list, not anywhere near the top of my list, but I also would not write it off. It fits in one of those weird areas in Eli the computer guy land where it's like it's not the top of the list, it's not written off, it's kind of one of those niche things. If your life is within a certain set of circumstances, it may be the best thing for you. But if it's outside those set of circumstances, it could be absolutely horrible. So with University of the People, the interesting thing with this is that this is what is called a tuition-free university. So the idea is you don't pay any tuition for classes. You don't pay athletic fees. You don't pay a per credit fee. You don't pay a per semester fee. It is tuition-free. Now I want you to be careful. If I've taught you guys anything, it is always to listen to what the hell people are saying. Not what you think they're saying, what they are saying. And if you heard what I said it is a tuition-free university. Tuition-free. Not free. Not free, tuition free. So basically how they make their money then is whenever you sign up to become part of their program, you pay a $50 application fee. Not too bad. But then you pay $100 per class testing fee. So whenever you get done with one of their classes, their three credit hour classes or whatnot, you pay a $100 fee in order to get tested and for them to give you a gold star. Now the thing to realize, you know, you're sitting there and you're going, and at first I was like, oh, that's not too bad, $100 per test, no big deal. But then it's been a while since I went to university, and then I started thinking about it. It's like, well, university is 120 credit hours. That comes out to 40 classes, 40 3 credit hour classes. So if you have to pay $100 per class to test, then that comes out to like $4,000 in testing fees. Yeah, if I'm doing my math right, that comes out to about $4,000 in testing fees plus a $50 application fee. So it is definitely not free by any stretch of the imagination. Now, you look at $4,000, it's up to your bank account whether that seems high or low. For me, that's a drop in the bucket. Wouldn't even think twice about it. Here's a check, done. But again, if you're in Pakistan or India or some of these other places, $4,000 for some people may be a year's salary. And not being sarcastic there, it really may be. So that is one thing to look at whenever you're looking at these programs, is make sure, one, that you know what they are actually saying, you know, whenever they're saying it, and then see if that actually fits into your bank account. Make sure you do all the math, because $4,000 is definitely not free. Now let's go over to the computer and we can kind of take a look at this. So, you know, I was taking a look around on the University of the People website, and so basically this is a tuition-free online university. So it's all online, and again, you don't pay any tuition other than the $4,000 for testing fees. If you go in here, you can take a look at the information, and basically what they do is they do online courses. From what I can gather, they put you into cohorts of 20 or 30 people, and they kind of shepherd you through with whatever kind of online program they have. Now with this, the important thing to look at whenever you're looking at universities is what the hell is their accreditation? This is one of the biggest problems I have, especially with a lot of the third world viewers, is you guys go after every university that the U.S. will throw at you, and you don't really think about the quality of the university, right? Universities ain't all the same quality, right? So what accreditation agencies do is accreditation agencies actually accredit the university to say that the university is living up to a certain set of standards. So here in the United States, there's generally 6 widely known accrediting agencies that are for different regions of the United States. So here in the Baltimore area, we're under like the Mid-Atlantic whatever higher education. Then there's like the Northeast, and there's a Southeast, and there's 6 major ones. This is accredited under the Distance Education and Training Council. To be honest with you, I have no idea. So it is accredited. They did go through the trouble of getting it accredited. Whether this accrediting body matters, I can't tell you. So that's one thing you need to do the research. Not only do you need to research the university, but then when it says things like it's accredited, you then need to look into the accrediting agencies and make sure if the accrediting agencies are worth a darn. And again, with the DETC, I can't tell you. I ain't even going near that one. But just be careful when you're looking at that. So beyond that, we look at the programs. We go over here to admissions, or no, we go over here to academics. We can see their different programs. So these programs, basically, they seem to only have 2 at this point in time. They have business administration and computer science. If you click on the computer science, you can see all the different stuff. We can go down and take a look at the course catalog. And from the course catalog, it looks very university-ish. We can open this up and see what they have to say. So overall, I mean, if you don't have a lot, if all you've got is $4,000 and you need to do an online program, definitely, it seems like it will, it's interesting. Now, there's a couple of things, again, like I would say to be careful about whenever you're going to be looking at these online programs. Is the first one is the question that I have is, can you actually do an online program? A lot of people sign up for online programs because, it's great. It's inexpensive. I can do it from home. I can do it on my own time. What is not to love about this? Except for the fact that most people, 90% of the population, don't have enough discipline to actually do that. So although it looks really good on paper, they don't actually end up doing it. So the first thing to worry about whenever you're going to be doing self-education, self-training, online training, any of that kind of stuff, is simply, do you have the discipline? I don't. Can I be honest with you? I don't. I've done those online, and I had to do a couple of telecourses back in the day before we had online courses, and those were miserable. Like, I actually had to finish like 2 for my college degree, just how things lined up. I had to do them, and those were about the most miserable courses I ever went through in my life because I had to get them done, but I suck at telecommuting or whatever that is, telecourses. So that is one thing to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind whenever you're going to be doing any of these online courses or even self-education is to realize that many times one of the problems with these kind of courses is they don't teach you context. One of the reasons that I like people going into universities, going into colleges, learning things one-on-one is because not only do you learn the factual material, but you also learn the context, how these different topics are really used in the real world. There's more conversation going on. When you're in a normal university environment, it's more of a guided conversation versus simply a complete monologue. And what I find in self-education and online courses, you just get a complete monologue. Yes, you can ask questions, but it's not like it's pulled out of you. And so a lot of times you learn a lot of factual information, but you don't learn any context. Again, in the IT world and technology world, it truly is. Not joking, it's 90% context and 10% facts. So you can come out of a program freaking like brilliant in facts, but if you don't understand the context wherein this crap fits in, it's not really going to do really well for you. The final thing that I would say is realistically, if you're going to be going to a university, if you're going to be getting a degree and you're not sure about the program, honestly, I would argue that you probably shouldn't come to me to ask a question. I mean, I guess you can come to me and ask a question. I'll give you this kind of answer. But the person that you really should go and ask this question to is a tech recruiter, HR people, hiring managers, so on and so forth. Basically, if you're going to be getting a degree from someplace like University of the People, what you really should do is go talk to the hiring people, the HR people, the recruiters, and see what they have to say. Realistically, at the end of the day, what you are spending $4,000 for and spending the next 3 or 4 years of your life doing is basically trying to suck up to that gatekeeper that does hiring so that you can actually get hired for a company. If you go through all of this program and nobody gives a damn about the University of the People, then you're stuck, right? And then not only do you lose the money, but you also lose all that time. Whenever you're doing any project in startup world or anything else, not only do you have the actual cost, but you have something called opportunity cost. The more time, if you spend time doing one thing, that means you're not spending time doing something else. So if you go through 3 years or 4 years or 2 years to get this degree, and then you come out and find out it's worthless, then not only have you lost the money, but now you've got to do another degree program, which is even more time, which can be really, really, really miserable. So I would say go off, talk to the hiring people and see what they have to say. If they say bachelor's degree from University of the People in computer science looks good to us, then go for it. If you talk to 2 or 3 or 4 hiring people and they say, then stay the hell away from it. Again, for most of you guys, you're trying to get employment, and those hiring people are the ones you have to get through. So those are some of the things that I would say to think about. Now, as far as, where this fits on my whole paradigm, again, I always argue, generally you get what you pay for, at least in public institutions. University of Phoenix and DeVry and all that's its own little story. And so I would be cautious about this. I would really be cautious about this. This is not something I would tell most people to go through, to be honest with you. 99% of the population, I'd say, don't even take a look at it. But what you have to look at is, what is your budget? If $4,000 fits into your budget, where $20 or $30 or $40,000 doesn't fit into your budget, you've got your answer there. And then, being a remote person, if there's no university you can go to where you're at in Oman, then again, that kind of answers your question. I personally would argue that you should try to do in-person college classes, university classes, and again, you should do a normal public university that is accredited by a normal accrediting agency. That is what I would generally argue for. But again, in life, everything is situational. It's completely situational. So again, you can go to Harvard, smoke dope the entire time, basically cheat off all your buddies, and end up getting a piss poor education. Or you can go to some piss poor university, spend 5 hours a night doing supplementary reading, really push yourself, and even though you're coming out of piss poor university, you still can have an amazing education. A lot of it really is what you put into it is what you get out, and so you've got to weigh all these things. So University of the People, basically what I would say is it's here. It is not the top of my list. It's not even the top. It's not in the top 10 of my list. But unlike some of these other universities where I really talk smack about it, it's not off my list. It's not like Test. Like, there's this vocational for-profit institution around here called Test. There is no way in hell. No way in hell, man. You tell me you're going to Test, I'm just gonna smack you. It's just bad. It's just, no, don't go there. My opinion. So it's not there. It's not crap. So it fits into that weird little area. What I would say is just sit down, really look at what your options are, and make sure it is really what you want to do. Because again, you are spending $4,000 and you're spending the time and energy to go through it. So those are the kinds of things that you really have to weigh.